Oh, hello. Here to talk to you all today about working with camp counselors. We're going to break this video up into two parts. First, we will discuss the brain of a camp counselor. Try to learn how they think. Then we will go through some specific points about what it's like, what you need to know to work with a camp counselor. Let's begin, shall we? Let's take a closer look at the brain. The brain is full of nerves, and on those nerves are dendrites. Dendrites are like little tiny seahorses swimming around through your brain. When they meet up with another little seahorse, they explode like fireworks, almost like a Katy Perry song. These exploding dendrites are what help develop the brain. Most adults have exploded their dendrites. But camp counselors are unique in the sense that they continue to explode dendrites throughout their life as a camp counselor. For most people, all these dendrites explode during the teenage years, which can lead to some tumultuous times. But when looking at a camp counselor's brain and all the little exploding dendrites, it's fascinating to see what changes the brain goes through and how it functions as a result of these exploding dendrites. In fact, scientists have recently discovered that exploding dendrites are the cause of creativity and absurdity. That can explain some of the odd actions of a camp counselor. Other things to look at when focusing on the brain of a camp counselor is that 80% of the brain's activity is devoted to how much fun that person is having at any given moment. 17% is devoted to thinking about food, and the other 3% is devoted to the safety of the campers. Don't be alarmed by that, though. Camp directors' brains function on a much different level. In a camp director, 97% of the brain is devoted to the safety of the campers. So you're in good hands. But let's look at that 80% again. 80% devoted to how much fun they're having. That means that areas inside the brain that are normally devoted to other things, such as work obligations, such as driving, operating things like a cell phone, all go out the window as they think about throwing jello, bouncing on hippity hops, running through a car wash on water day, canoeing, fishing, horseback riding. It's fascinating. Scientists have studied camp counselors to try to get a better understanding of how their brain operates and why their brain operates the way it does. Again, they come back to the exploding dendrites, which in most adults have already exploded. But the fact that they are still exploding in a camp counselor's brain is what leads to this unusual brain activity. An unusual brain activity is a good sign for a camp counselor, because that's what makes a camp so much more enjoyable. The unusual. And you just can't have the unusual happen without unusual people making it happen. Which is why it is not unusual to find unusual activity with a camp counselor. Part 2. Some things you should know about working with camp counselors. Number 1. They are going to want to be your friend. It's natural for any camp counselor to form a connection with the campers. But you must remember that they are the adult. They are the ones that can punish you. They are the ones that can hold you accountable for your actions. They are the ones who should be enforcing the rules and keeping you safe. Number 2, they want to teach you life skills and other things throughout classes, throughout the week that you spend with them. It makes them feel important, makes them feel good about themselves. Accept that. Attempt to learn something. You never know. It might come in handy later on in life. And if they feel like they are teaching something, and they are doing their best job to be a teacher, it makes them feel good inside. It might lead to more fun for you. Number 3. Counselors will ask you a lot of questions. They will talk with you in an attempt to get to know you. Don't be alarmed by this. It's part of who they are. They're very curious beings. They want to gather information. They're not using this against you. They're not planning an alien attack. Contrary to popular belief, most counselors are from Earth. And most counselors are genuinely interested in you as a person and what you have to say. So don't be afraid to answer their questions. Don't be afraid to get to know them. Ask them questions. You never know. You might learn something interesting about them.